Yo, what's up? It's your boy zFury. This is game 3 of the Heroes of the Dorm round of 64 match between UNT and Indiana-Purdue. Something notable about this draft, there's two tanks here. This new brag is a lot of hard engage that we do have to worry about. But the big thing about this draft was we banned ETC. They picked Muradin, and in their second round they banned Joanna. So it's huge for us because of a little problem we have with depth in the roster of our tank player, Alec Skull here. He pretty much only plays those standard 3 easy tanks, and that's kind of my fault for not noticing that could possibly happen in the draft if we banned ETC. The fact that they could pick Murr and ban Joe. I think that's pretty weak by them because they don't know that he doesn't have the depth of heroes that we know he doesn't. So it's kind of on me, but I didn't think they would do the Joanna ban. So as such, he's playing Stitches. I mean, not for the first time, but for the first time in a competitive setting. We've never scrimmed with it. It's been banned for a while, so we have no practice with it whatsoever. Up to the point where pretty much didn't know how to build, and we had to kind of go over that before the game. So that's enough to put you on tilt to start the game, but it wasn't the worst thing possible. Face checks here. We get an early fight, which I kind of like our early fight with the Sylvanas. It's not. We have a decent comp, all things considered. If we take Putrid Ball, the fact that we have Jaina and we have Lunara, we can do some massive damage with Lunara Poison. Great pull on the Murden there. I think we do actually get the kill. We do. This comp is just a lot of sustained damage. You have sustained damage and sustained healing. The longer the team fight goes on, the better it is for us. However, they have a lot of hard engage, and the Sylvanas Arrow, as you can see, does screw us up a lot. They have Dom, their best player, on Sylv. We have Weldon on his solo laner bottom. Sylv is not the best solo laner. As you can see, our Black Arrow doesn't affect the minions. We do have a great clear swap. We're actually ahead in XP. We get level 2 first. We are clear swapping about as good as you can see a clear swap. They obviously aren't used to this. They don't quite know what they're doing. They're way slow in their clear swapping, and we have the stronger laner bottom. So right off the bat, we're in a pretty good situation. Just kind of boring, because you're just farming waves. If my memory serves me correctly, this is the game where we made the most mistakes. And from what I've been seeing on doing these analysis is that there's a lot more mistakes than I previously thought. So expect a lot this game. Really nothing to talk about. I guess we can look at talents, but nothing's too awful. I really like the pick here on the 15% damage for Zol here. They don't really have any strong auto attackers, and that 15% damage on the double tank is pretty huge. Not as viable on the Nubrak just because he doesn't have a lot of base health. This is something that you see in Stitches Malfurion, which are really strong. It's not what the comp is built around. This comp isn't about getting hooks. We don't need the hooks to win the game. Sorry, let's zoom out there. It's just nice, so it's not a huge deal. But with more communication, we could have our Stitches player letting the Malfurion know when he's going to throw out a hook, and we can get a root follow up immediately and get some pretty sick kills here. We don't really know he's going for that hook until it happens, and that's just playing the champion more, playing the hero more. So far, hitting a lot of hooks for not really playing Stitches that much in competitive. 4 here, I do get Dividing Wisp. I think that's going to be pretty sick for Vision. I do have a bit of an issue with Lunara Wisp in that they don't see turn-ins if they're on the opposite side turning in, which does come to bite us back a little bit. We do get the hook on Rhaegar there. The follow-up is there this time. We do get the pick, which is really what you want to do with the clear swapping. Not only if you do it properly are you going to be ahead on XP and ahead in waves, but it really puts the pressure on the enemy team to react to ganks. If they don't, like they're just going to die. So we have turn in, and we're looking to do it here. Pretty good pokes from Li Ming, but not enough. So we get the first turn in here. We're about almost half a level ahead. So we're in good shape. The fact that we're a very sustaining, non-ult reliant team means that we're in a really good spot if we keep it up and don't make mistakes. But, you know, as is with our team, we make some mistakes. I think this is the first one. We're a little too far up and don't recognize the fact that they have a Nubrak and Muradin, which is an incredibly strong combination. So we pull a Nubrak, he E's out, which means he doesn't have his E4 engaged, so we feel pretty good here. Because he doesn't have E, we can, you know, safely hold this mid while Weldon gets a lot of damage bottom. So they have to go clear top, so I think we just stay here. We let it push, or do we follow? We'll see. I would have liked to just push these towers down. There's not really much we can do. We are getting a lot of damage, though. Sylvanas is pushing bot solo, so we have 5 here versus 4. We do get the 2 towers. I don't think we're going to get a kill here, so we should just back out at this point because Sylvanas is going to start getting free push bottom. We are a full level ahead here. They do have turn-in, which is something we need to be cognizant of. I don't think we quite discussed that in comms as much as we could have. Decent hook attempt there. We would have had a pretty sick follow if we were able to get a root off. So we did get towers here, towers top, and almost towers bottom. Unfortunate that Dom was able to get the turn in there. Definitely got, especially if you have a strong solo laner like that, you definitely have to keep eyes on that. Like I said, this Wisp is pretty shitty. It's my bad. It should be here or here. I think this would be a good location for the Wisp instead. Early game, this is good for rotations, but at this point in the game when it's really crucial to get turn-ins, I think the Wisp here would be a lot better. There's nothing going on. We can look for a hook on Li Ming. I would have liked to see one there, just because they're nowhere to be found. At this point, we should be proactively pushing the wave. We'll pull on a Nubrak here. Not going to get much off of it. Hopefully trying to force out the E, but we don't. And they kind of get a free turn in top because we really didn't need to look for the follow-up on the Nubrak there or the hook whatsoever. Just we needed to be focusing on watching the turn-ins. So it looks like they're going to hard push bottom. They have Sylvanas, and they know that in these towers they want to push its 5 and utilize the Sylvanas. What we're going to do is wrap around and fight, which, you know, might not be the best option because we're fighting on this tower here. He pulls Li Ming, which is pretty good. We don't get the root. That's where the communication comes in handy. If we're able to say, hey, I'm hooking, and then you root where Stitch's location is, that's a dead Li Ming, and we win the fight. We get level 10, we clear all these, and we snowball the game. Right? So that's where small individual plays come in handy. And that's not really a mechanical issue, it's a communication error and not playing the comp. I know I sound like a broken record, but swings like that can really change the game. Like I said, our sustained damage and our sustained healing with Malfurion is pretty sick here. They're obviously way lower than us, and we're able to just get this cleared, and we can roam up to the other lanes. We're going to be level 10 first, barring them getting any crazy keeps or something. They're going to get both of these walls here, so it actually is probably going to be a little bit more even than I thought. Zol goes top, we clear this, and we go to help him. Just gotta make sure he doesn't get caught. They are gonna get both the towers here, so yeah, level 10 is gonna come pretty much even here for both teams. No sizable advantage. The only advantage we do have is coins on them, so we have turn in and they don't. We're gonna be looking for it right now. I think we call for it immediately here and position for it. What we could have done is push these waves out. Like we had 15 seconds. But they played it poorly. Obviously, I would have pushed the waves out against a team that was going to be looking for the turn-in, but they weren't. So it worked out to our advantage. But just because it worked out does not mean it was the right call. Pretty haphazard placement of the Wisp there. Go for the hook, get it on Lunara. Another route that could have gone out if the communication was better. And because we follow up on this Li Ming hook, we just get decimated here by the Inubarek. We really don't respect the Inubarek whatsoever. I think I make a huge misplay here. I get stunned, and there's no reason for me to be in there. They caught me on the edge of my pounce. The fact that we caught the Li Ming and she has one of the best escapes in the game on like 5-second cooldown, which is absolutely ridiculous. If we don't get any lockdown with the hooks, because we have no hard CC and Zul's E isn't going to happen for 2 seconds later, we play ourselves, right? So we actually funneled all into one location. Inubarek was able to counter engage. The fact that they have 2 tanks and counter engage on our squishy sustain comp, it means we just get fucking wrecked. And it was pretty shitty. Like, something that you see a lot in the competitive scene right now is Tyrande stitches, which is much, much, much harder to hit than root stitches. And they do it with pretty high consistency in, both ETS matches I've seen and Korean matches. So, with just a little bit more practice, this game would have gone a lot better. But we're not too far behind. They're not 13. They're a level ahead, got some stats, no talents. We still have the better team fight comp, as long as we don't get hard engaged on like we did previously. Just no reason to point blank use the Q on Meriden there. Poor positioning by Calgar here. Doesn't even get any ticks from the Tranquility. Because of that poor positioning, we lose the fight. We do get the Inubarek on the back end of it and the Meriden. So, the fight could have gone a lot worse. But as you saw, it's 2 for 2, and we won the fight with Jaina dying immediately. Now imagine that fight if Jaina doesn't die immediately, Game 1 and 2, or Game 1 and 3, just some pretty questionable decision making as far as positioning goes from our assassin players. We do have Nature's Calling here, which is just one of the sickest talents in the game at level 7 on the Nara. Just basically makes her into kind of her own little niche specialist role where she just shreds towers in mini waves. Like, look, one ultimate is going to just clear this whole wave out. They do have turn-in up here. We need to be looking for it, and we should be looking for a fight before 13. We get a hook on Rhaegar, get the root, and we should have the damage, but we don't. We don't collapse on it. They actually get the turn-in during all of that. Just pretty poor on our end. 13 can be a big power spike for us. That's when I get my 50% extra damage on slowed targets from my poison, which, as you can imagine, with Putrid Bile and Jaina, is going to be a lot of damage. That's going to be pretty hard for their Rhaegar to heal up. So we just got to defend here. Try to use calling to take these down as fast as possible. But 13-13 could be a lot worse right now. They are going to go ahead and get that bottom. We give it up. We know there's nothing we can do. Sylvanas is too strong for these scenarios. We just clear top. This isn't going to push in to bottom lane. And they're not going to get too much of an advantage off of it. Going to try to push in mid here. We don't immediately go bottom because we are fearful of the Sylvanas and the vanilla push that she is able to provide. So we kind of just leave people here just to make sure. We don't quite know what they're doing. They're obviously doing this camp, as you can see here. We should have started our camp immediately. There's not really anything to do here. All 4 of us clearing this wave is pretty unnecessary at this point. Don't really need a clear swap 12 minutes into the game. We see that they took their camp, and we say that's a pretty good idea. Do our own. Would have liked to see this camp taken about 20 seconds prior, though. Would have had a lot better position. Not a huge deal. We're going to be able to clear this mid. One of my Thornwood Vines is going to chunk that wave. And they don't get a lot off of it, and we're actually ahead on the gem count at this point. So as long as they don't get any crazy pushes like they are up here, and we're looking for a fight. We are 14-14. We should be fishing for a hook here. I would like to see a blind hook on this side of the wall right here. Again, experience. So we're just going to go in for the turn-in. See the mid. they don't check these as much as they should have. We don't either, but they don't as well. So I think Weldon, if you would have turned in there earlier, we would have had to turn in during this fight, which would have been huge. At this point, we all need to turn on the Anubarak here. No reason for Weldon to be attacking the Muradin. Muradin shouldn't be as low as he is. If the Anubarak had a little bit more damage, that heal wouldn't have gone off, and this fight would have gone infinitely better. Great roots on the 3. Tunnel on the Li Ming. No reason to continue the chase. There's no way you're going to get the kill there. We aren't able to get the Muradin, just his third wind, and Rhaegar is going to keep him alive. Yeah, and that fight should have been a lot better. The call was made to Anubarak. I do remember that very vividly, that we called to attack him. The fact that 2 of our members, Weldon and Skull, were attacking Muradin there, just massive. We barely lost one there, and they had to actually disengage. So, the fight's going in our favor. If we get that kill before Rhaegar's ult goes off, we have a full slow comp. They're not getting away. We have hooks as well. So, again, another fight where just like a couple of seconds of indecision really costing us. Again, this is something Sam from UTD echoes a lot, is that a lot of it just comes down to individual skill. We can play as 5 as much as we want, but there's a lot of things that, you just need to play solo queue more. Get the hook on Mura. Don't really get a follow-up here. I would have liked to see the Blizzard a little further up. We have culling, so we just stay here and go for the wall. This top well is pretty insignificant. No one really uses top well this late in the game, so we don't really stay for it, and we shouldn't. Anubarak comes in, hits Calgar. Does not need to be that close. Shouldn't be being hit by Anubarak. Great Ring of Frost really slows him down here, and we try to focus the Anubarak again. We do blow him up. We have 5 here. Weldon drops, and we aren't able to pick up the Muradin. We try to chase as much as possible. The hook doesn't go out, and we disengage from this point. But as you can see, with a little bit better focus fire, a little bit more spread, the fact that, we just can't let the Anubarak E onto our squishy targets. Got to be a little bit further back. These fights should be going a lot better. This is the rubber match, game 3, and it's really painful to see all these individual misplays losing us team fights. Or not losing us team fights, but, making team fights even, or winning by a little when we should be winning by a lot. Something that we really had a problem with in game 2. We're going to let them get a free turn in here for turning in easy camp, or for doing easy camp. Probably not worth. Probably not worth. So we decide to go for bottom. We know they're top. We feel very comfortable with this when we see it, when we see them top. So we are able to get this for free, which always feels good. Which means our next spiders are going to be good. We stay for this. We see them top. We just want to blow this up as quick as possible. It just melts. We're going to rotate mid and give up top, I think is the call. If the spiders only take 1 keep or 1 outer, you're in pretty decent shape, especially if they have Sylvanas. So, I think a team fight's coming up, if I remember correctly. We're going to pull on the Rhaegar, we're going to hook, root, and we kill him immediately. This should be a destruction team fight. The call should be to go on Anubarak here. We have Weldon going off here, people splitting on Mura, and Skull attacking on Stitches. So again, 3 different targets being attacked by 3 or 4 different people. We aren't able to get a noob here. So it's a 0 for, or it's a 1 for 0. I honestly thought this wall was up and that this wasn't as in danger as I thought it was. Well, I believe Weldon makes the call just to go bottom here and vanilla push it. I think we see that we have mercs, but we don't really quite understand that they're fucking dead. We barely have a wave coming, and they have a tower up. We're not going to get this. There's zero chance. In my mind, I don't countercall it. I don't say, no, let's go back, let's cut our losses, and just clean up. I say, you know what, that's not an awful idea because I'm tunnel on this culling, right? I don't quite understand the power of culling at this point. I run it a lot, but I kind of overvalue it. Right now, I'm seeing this as a dead turret. They have one dead. I think we can vanilla push it in and get it. Obviously, a miscalculation. Had I known that this was ever going to be in danger of getting low or dying, I would have immediately not called it because it's too much of a risk. But honestly, from them just getting the keep and us having our wall up, I did not think this at 17 minutes would be able to get through a wall and then actually kill the keep. As you can see, it does. And this was probably the biggest error we make this game as far as shot calling and not just a mechanical or individual misplay. We pull Murden. Again, just got to stop going for the Murden. There's nothing that really accomplishes. He can just E out, and even if he can't E out, he's just going to live anyway. We realized pretty quick there's no way we're getting it, especially with Rhaegar coming up. We're actually at a pretty big disadvantage with Malfurion's health being low, and the top is taken. Very poor from us. Basically, we win a team fight, and we lose a fort or a keep. So, it's pretty shitty. It's pretty bad. Feels bad, man. And that, this being dead, especially it being the boss lane, is going to be pretty important to why we lose this game later on. Spoiler. With this mid wave, they're looking for an Anubarak engage here. They might have been able to do it. Tori was pretty unsafe there. What we're kind of trying to do is look and make sure they're not doing boss. We don't see them. We see them mid now, so we're not too worried about it. I get the wisp up there so we can get some full vision on it. We actually have enough for turn-in, and I think we're looking for it now. We're either looking for turn-in or we're looking for a fight. What we can do is we're going to be 20 before then. We should really be looking for 20s here instead of the fight. Instead we fight. We'll get the hook on a Nubarak, and the skeletons come out. But here's something with skeletons. And I bought Weldon Zol so he could learn it this week, just because it was going to be important in our draft phase. But if you use your mages and you hit terrain, there should be 4 mages, right? Like it should go to here. But because he used it and he hit terrain, it eats up 2 of the mages. So we only have 2 shitty mages that are barely hitting the 2 backliners. They have hard engage here. The ring is not good. It doesn't hit anyone. It doesn't do anything. We are on Sylvanas here, but Jaina is in the back, and we're nowhere near the Trank. We should all be disengaging together. This tunnel is pretty awful by us. So the Rhaegar Ancestral goes off. Alec is in the front using his ultimate, really getting in there. Pretty decent play from the Stitches at this point. Weldon's pretty full health, and we've got Tranquility rolling. Let's see how this goes. So Li Ming's damage starts to come out. It starts to get a little bit scary here. Trank is still rolling, but we are clearly losing this fight at this point. Weldon gets hit there. Maybe going down a little bit would have helped him, but that was going to happen regardless. The fact that we only got out of that with 1 dead is pretty remarkable. That was pretty shitty analysis of the team fight, but basically the moral of it is we all need to be... Stitches needs to be in front, and all of our squishies need to be behind the Stitches in kind of the same location, so we can all be healed up by the Tranquility. But not in a way where we're going to take a shitload of AoE damage, right? Like kind of a concave in the back instead of having 2 people here and then 2 people here, right? They immediately go for boss. We know that they're doing boss. We don't contest this as well as we could. Stitches throws the hook. Not really what you want to see. They peel off the boss. It leashes. Oh, that's pretty good for us. We are now level 20. We just need to be healed up by the Malfurion and wait for Weldon to come up. a hook here on a squishy or even a noob would be pretty substantial in stopping the boss, but you know, experience with stitches. They are going to get the boss here, and because this bottom keeps down, we got to take a shitty team fight here. It's 20-20, so it's not as awful as it could be, but you know, if we just let them push in, it's 20 minutes, 21 minutes in the game. We're just going to fucking lose, right? So we have to wait for the boss to come past us or try to fight them before, because it's not like the Punisher, right? Like, it's going to stay down the lane, and it's not going to be too intrusive. But we are going to have to fight before it gets to the base, which puts us in a situation, they know that we have to fight. It puts us in a situation where we can't surprise them with an engage. They know it's coming. Calgar, again, a little too far ahead. Luckily, the Nubrak canceled early. We had to fight on the boss. The Trank comes out at a really good time. Got to make sure your Q goes off first, which it looks like it has, before you pop your Trank. Really great skeletal mages there. The ring hits, it only hits a Nubrak. Could have been a little bit better. Instead of having the ring right here, hitting the Nubrak, who was in the front, you could have thrown it in the back line a little bit, and it would hit the Nubrak and also the squishies. Zol's dead, Anoob's dead. It's a 4v4 in this situation. I'm pretty deep. But, you know, at this point, the boss is going to be on the base. It's going to kill the base. We have to win the team fight quick. We have to win it now. We have to pick one target. We have to go on it. She's pretty low. I peel back. The W goes off on Murden. He misses his Q. Alex pretty low. I would have liked not the tunnel on the Murden here. Not throwing the W just to fight the tank. If he would have wrapped around a little bit here, been a little bit more aggressive, one Q kills that Lei Ming and it turns the entire fight around. They're turning on stitches here. We need to pick one target. And I think we make the call to go on Murden here, but it's too little too late. And that's it. That's the series. Could have gone a lot better. A lot of mistakes in all three of the games, and a lot of them are attributed to the fact that there is a lack of individual skill that can be solved by playing more solo queue, and there is a lack of practice with specific comps and specific heroes that, you know, would have really helped us win all of these games. Even game one, which we won, we could have won a lot harder. A lot of positional errors, a lot of, you know, communication error from the team. But, you know, we have one more year to play as a team for Heroes of the Dorm next year. A lot more than the 2 months we were given to practice for this one. So I'm looking forward to it.